Hello, guys. Good morning to you all. I hope you are doing okay. It's me, Success again, and I'm seeing a buy opportunity on gold, or rather, I'm just here to share my bias and thought process on XAUUSD, which happens to be gold. So let's quickly dive into it. Here is my 4-hour time frame. So let's quickly check what's happening. So as you can clearly see from my 4-hour time frame, so I'm definitely going to zoom out so you can see the thought process behind the buy opportunity that I'm clearly seeing. So let's unzoom. So as you can clearly see, I've literally unzoomed this level, and looking left, I can see that there is a resistance on this level that price eventually has just broken. So if we then have to zoom out again, we can clearly see that here it's a definitely resistant level. There's a resistant level on this level. So if I'm to definitely expand this my box to at least correlate with the resistance looking left where price has eventually came and bounced up. So what's happening? So as you can clearly see, price has eventually been sliding down. Price has eventually been sliding down on gold. So today, what I'm seeing so far is that I'm seeing price literally just broke this level. I'm seeing price broke this level, this resistance level looking left. So as you can clearly see, here definitely was a resistance level that price failed to break looking left. So price eventually failed to break this level looking left. So what am I waiting for? Yes, after marking the high and low of the week, I can clearly see that price is definitely we're seeing more buys coming to the market. Yes, after marking the high and low, price eventually broke before the low, broke below the low of the week, and then what happened? We've seen price now broke above the high of the week, which you can clearly see from my 4-hour time frame. So as you can clearly see, here is definitely an area of interest for me from my 4-hour time frame. So for my 4-hour time frame, here is an area of interest. There is a resistance level looking left if we have to trace it back like I just drew earlier. So there's a resistance level here. So what am I seeing now? After marking the high and low of the week, price has eventually broken above the high of the week. So price has eventually broken it. So far there is nothing to do here because the price has eventually moved before us. So all we can do right now is to be patient to definitely see price retest. So all we can do now, we have to see price eventually broke significantly from this level. At least from this level, we can see price eventually broken above this level. So what am I anticipating? I'm anticipating for price to eventually get to this level, then a retest on this level looking left that price has eventually broken by price. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting to see price eventually broken that level looking left. So we can see that the bars have already stepped in and we're seeing more buy candles from this level. So in order for me to execute, in order for me to enter a buy trade on gold, I'm not going to execute yet until I see a significant pullback or buy above this level looking left. So for me, here is a resistance level looking left. So until price eventually we can see buy candles breaking above it so far, but I want to see price eventually at least breaking significantly, then I'm going to position for a retest on this level looking left that price has just broken. So that's the plan. That's the mindset. So until I see price eventually pulling back to this level, which happens to be a psychological level of 4,650,000. And this level was a resistance level looking left. But now we've seen that this level is definitely going to turn into support to drive the market to the upside. So I'm waiting to see price eventually put back to this level. Let me quickly just highlight the level I'm waiting for. So I'm waiting to see price eventually pulling back to this level. And why am I waiting to see price put back to this level? I'm waiting to see price pulling back to this level because here is a resistance level that price is definitely breaking so far. So, and on the other hand, here is also the high of the week. So whenever price tends to break above the high of the week, we always have price coming back to retest that level before then bouncing off that level before then going to the original direction. So this is clearly my 4 hour time frame, and this is what I'm literally waiting for in a nutshell. A break above significantly to this level, and then a retest on this level, and then all I'm going to do is to fall down to my 15-minute time frame, being the entry time frame. Then I'm going to look out for the retest on this level. So this is my 1 hour time frame, being the intermediate time frame. So if I'm definitely having to execute on this trade on my 15 minutes, all I can do and all I'm going to do is to clearly see price breaking above significantly. Like you can clearly see, here is the resistance level I'm talking about, looking left. So here's the resistance level. So until I see price eventually retest on this level, until I see price retest on this level here, then if I'm to execute on this trade, this is clearly how I'm going to execute this trade. So I'm definitely going to position for a buy on this level. So it's going to be a buy from this level. Then the stop loss, it's going to be a huge stop loss. It's going to be, the stop loss is going to be big because definitely based on market structures, if we have to position the stop loss, we have to put the stop loss below the low that price eventually will get to. And all we can do, so literally, let's say here is the low, let's say here is the entry time frame, or rather here's the entry to, so or the entry position. So our stop loss definitely it's gonna be below, it's gonna be below this level here. It's gonna be below this level, for example, like this. But then it's gonna be a huge stop loss. It's gonna be a huge stop loss. It's gonna be huge. So eventually, if we're risking 53 pips here about, then we can target around times two of that. We can target times two of that. We can probably get the take profit to this level. So we can target take profit on this level. So this is definitely what I intend doing once I see that confirmation. Once I see the confirmation, like I said, this is what I clearly want to do. But on the other hand, the stop loss is definitely going to be very big. It's going to be big. But all we can do now is definitely to be patient to see price eventually tapping or testing off this level of the high of the week and the low of the week. So we just have to be very patient, no hurry, just be patient enough to see price retest of this level. Then we can see the reaction of this level and then look out for our four conferences as well. So when we do find our four conferences, this is how we're clearly going to execute the trade. We're definitely going to execute the trade like this. We're definitely going to risk less based on the fact that the stop loss is going to be so big. But all we can do to avoid drawdowns is definitely to wait to see price eventually retest of this level. Then watch out for the candlestick formation. So once price eventually retest of this level, so what I'm going to be doing is to see price, is to see candlestick formation around this level, is to see a buy candlestick formation, either a pin bar, a hammer pin bar, or it's for me to see my conferences as well. It's for me to see the psychological level, high of the week, then price action. So in order for me to execute on this level, I have to see price action as confirmation that price is definitely going to be heading to the upside. And the price action I'm definitely going to be looking out for on this level is going to be a double pattern. It's definitely going to be a double pattern. So the reason why it's going to be a double pattern because it's definitely going to correlate. It's going to give us 3/4 conferences, the psychological level, high of the week, and price action. In this case, double pattern. So that's clearly what I'm going to be doing. That's how I'm going to be trading. I'm just waiting patiently. I just wanted to update you guys, to keep you guys informed, to show you guys my thought process, to show you what I'm going to be doing if everything aligns, because this is clearly how I trade. I first identify my levels, mark out my levels, and then allow price to react, allow price to then bounce up the level, and then all I can do is to execute my trade without panic or without fear. So this is literally what I'm going to be doing in a nutshell. So if you do love how I analyze, I want you to go hit the subscribe button. I want you to like, comment for more.